Hello everyone, welcome to Xcoding with Alvian. This is the second part of the Building Stocks app tutorial series using SwiftUI and Swift Charts. In the first part, we have successfully created an SPM library to fetch data from the Yahoo Finance API, such as the ticker symbol, quote price details, and the chart data. In this part, we are going to focus on building the SwiftUI Stocks app with several features. So the main list view that display the persisted tickers, search view to search ticker from the Yahoo Finance API and add it to the My Ticker list, and fetch the latest quotes detail and display it in the search list view and the main list view as well. And we will also learn on how to use the mock and stub inside the SwiftUI preview environment. Okay, and if you encounter any issue when working on this project, please download the completed project from the GitHub repository that I have provided at the description below. And one last requirement before you begin, please download the latest Xcode 14 release from the Mac App Store or from the Apple Developer Member Center. So, without further ado, let's begin and start coding. Open Xcode and click Create a new Xcode project. Select iOS, then App for the template. For the product name it as Stocks App, but you can also give it any name that you want. Make sure to select SwiftUI as the interface and click Next. And I'm going to save it in my desktop folder. Okay, let me set the window to full screen. The first thing that we are going to do is to rename this Stocks app. So select the name and right click refactor rename and rename it to stocks app.swift. Okay, this one as well, the comment, and click rename. Okay, it updates the stock name as well as the file name. And next, for the content view, let's also change the name. Right click refactor rename and rename it to main list view. The command as well, click rename and rename the previews as well to main list view underscore previews. Okay, and the first thing that we are going to do is to the dependency package in here, file at package, and one dependency that we are going to add is the XCAStocks API that we have created in the previous video using SPM. So let me find the URL. Give me a second. And this is the URL, github.com/alvinlazari/XCAStocks API. I have also provided the link at the description below, so you can also copy and paste from there. And select the dependency role to branch and select main, add to project, Stocks app, and then click add package to download. And select XCAStocks API, check this, so only this, the library, and click add package. Okay, as you can see here in the package dependencies, it now shows the XCAStocks API as the dependency. So with this, we should be able to just import XCAStocks API into our app, and then use all the public APIs to search tickers, to fetch quotes, and also fetch the chart data later. Okay, so this is for the first task. Let's create the ticker list row view. So this view displays the ticker data such as the symbol, name, price, and the trading day price change. So we will use this view in the main list as well as the search list. There are two main differences between them. In the main list, we don't have the leading add or remove button, and also in the main list, the price change text has a rounded rectangle as the background For negative value, it shows red background, while for positive, it shows the green background. And in the search view, we don't have that rounded rectangle as the background. Okay, so other than those two differences, the layout remains the same. And instead of creating two different views, we will create only one view with a condition to display search list view or main list view. First, let's create a models folder in the root folder here, and inside this models folder, create a new Swift file. Give it a name of TickerListRepository. So basically, this will be the model that represents the data for the view inside the TickerListRepository view. Okay, and first let's declare a struct name TickerListRepository. Okay, and let's also declare an enum named row type with two cases. First one is main, so this is for the main list view case, and the second one is search. There are two associated values for this case. First one is safe. This is a Boolean. This is used to determine which image is used. If it is true, we show the checkmark icon for the button, else we show the plus icon. Okay, and the next one is on button tag. So this will be a closure with empty parameter and empty return time. This will be invoked when the user taps on that button. Okay, and next let's declare four properties to represent the UI. First one is symbol, which is string. Second one is name, string. This one is optional. Third one is price. So for price, we will create a type alias. Okay, because we have two components. The first one is the price itself, it's a string, and the price change below the price. This is also a string. Okay, so this is a type alias for the tuple. So for the price, it will be price change type alias tuple. It's an optional. And finally, we have the type, which will be the row type. Okay, so this is the TickerListRepository. So let's create a new folder, give it a name of views, and inside this folder, create a new view, SwiftUI view. Give it a name of TickerListRepository. Okay, so first let's declare a property for this. It will be data with the type of TickerListRepository. And next, let's implement the preview so we can see the preview as we implement the view. Let's declare a v-stack and give it an alignment of leading, and let's show both the search list view and the main list view row view. So let's pass preview layout size that fits. So this will help to remove the bezel later when we want to preview it. Okay, so before we add the view to the inside the v-stack, let's create a static function first for the stubbing the data. First one is Apple TickerListRepository. Okay, so we have one parameter TickerListRepository, that row type that returns TickerListRepository. Okay, and here we can just initialize TickerListRepository. For the symbol, we can stop it with AAPL, and for the name, Apple Inc. For the price, let's pass a tuple. So it's going to be a string 100, and for the change it's going to be plus 0.7. Okay, for the type we just pass the parameter. Okay, so this is for the TickerListRepository. Let's copy this, and let's change for Tesla ticker list row data. Change this to TSLA and change the name to Tesla. And for the price, let's also change the price to 250.9. For the change, let's change that to minus 18.5. Okay, we have the stop. Let's continue implement the preview. So first, let's declare the text, passing main list, set the font to large, title, bold, and also add a padding. Okay. So let me change this to this selectable in the preview at the bottom, if you see. So it will remove that bezel because we use this size that fits. Okay. And now let's declare another fee stack. And in this fee stack, we're going to declare a ticker list row view. For the data, let's pass upper ticker list row data with the row type of main. Okay. And let's also copy and paste, but change it to Tesla for the second one. Okay. And let's also add a divider between those two ticker list row views. And let's add a padding to this fee stack and copy this fee stack. In fact, copy all of this text and fee stack and change this to search list. Okay, let me make this a bit wider. And in here, let's pass row type search, and for the is safe, let's pass hard-coded true. In the on button tab, let's pass to as a empty closure. Same in here, let's also pass search for the row type, and the is safe, let's pass false, and let's pass the empty closure for the on button tab closure. Okay, now we have this. Let's begin to implement the view. Okay, so in the body, let's select this hello world and declare an each tag. Okay, we're going to pass alignment of center. Okay, and inside the h tag, we're going to use if case let search. Okay, equal to data.type. Okay, and we also going to grab the associated value is safe and the on button tab closure. Okay, so this is the syntax to basically unwrap this row type if the case is search, as well as grabbing the associated values. Okay, so let's declare a button using action label. Okay, in the action, we're going to just invoke the closure on button tab, and something wrong, failed to process it. Let me try again to build. Something wrong with the syntax. I think this is a correct syntax. Is this correct? Data. Oh, sorry, this is data.type. Okay, not row type. Okay, so the compiler now works, recover from that issue. And in the label, let's create a private func. Okay, add the view builder annotation because we are going to use condition at the root image, and with parameter is safe of boolean. Certain type is an opaque view. Okay, so if is safe and else. Okay, that's why we need the view builder. So we're going to initialize the image, passing system name of checkmark, .circle.fill, okay, for is safe. And also add the symbol rendering mode of palette here. And let me invoke this is safe, passing the is safe associated value, okay, and then resume the preview. Okay, continuing on, set the foreground style to color.white and color.sun color, and set the image scale to large. It looks nice. And for the else, in case it is not safe, set a system name to plus.circle.fill, and set the symbol rendering mode to palette as well. And for the foreground style, we're going to pass color.sun color, and for the second one, we're going to pass color.secondary.opacity, and for the opacity, let's pass 0.3. Okay, and set also the image scale to large. Okay, the icon for the image looks good for is safe and also for not yet safe. Okay, we have this button for the search. The data type is search at the leading of the row, and let's continue. Inside this h tag, below this if, let's declare a v-stack again, and set the alignment to leading and spacing to 8. Hey, and here declare text passing data, that symbol. Okay, and set the font to headline bold. Okay, and next let's use if-let name to unwrap this data.name. So if it is exists, we're going to just declare text passing the name, set the font to sub headline, and set the foreground color to, let's use the UI color initializer, and pass secondary label. Okay, looks good. And continuing on, let's declare a spacer below that v-stack. Okay, wow, this looks good now. And next, we're going to use if-let again. Remember that price change is optional, so we're going to unwrap the tuple using this if-let price change. Put it in parentheses, and price for the first variable. The second one is change equal to data.price. So if this exists, break the tuple into these two variables. Okay, so I don't want to make this method, this body, to become too big, so I'm going to also create another function again in here, vBuilder, price change view. Okay, with one parameter string and return type of opaque view. So here let me scroll. We have two cases, right? If the case is main equal to data type is main, we're going to, so let's begin by the else. Okay, for the search it is much simpler because we don't have that rounded rectangle, right? So in case of search, we can just pass the text and set the foreground color to, we're going to use ternary in here. So if the text has prefix of minus, okay, we are going to assign it with red, otherwise green color. Okay, oh sorry, I need to add a closing parenthesis in here. Okay, and inside this if let price change, I'm going to declare another vstack alignment of trailing and spacing of 4, and I'm going to declare tax price, passing the price, and below the tax I'm going to declare price change view, passing the change. Okay, and let's set the font to headline bold. Okay, looks good for the search row type. So the color of the text itself will be red or green based on this, whether it contains this negative operator or not. Nice. Now let's implement the rounded rectangle background inside for the main data type, row type. So to do that, let's declare a cstack, passing alignment of trailing, and let's declare a rounded rectangle with corner radius of 4. Set the foreground color to, we need to do some trick using this hash prefix again. It contains this negative character. We're going to set the background to red, otherwise we're going to set the color to green. Okay, continuing on, let's hardcode the 8 to 24. Okay, and so to fix this sizing, let's add fixed size. Okay, so basically it will be, the size of this rectangle will be determined by the text that we are going to declare now. Okay, text, let's pass the text in here, and let's add a foreground color of white, and set the font to caption bold, and set the padding only the horizontal edges with 8. Looks good. Nice. We can preview both of the row type inside the main list view and for the search row type. Looks good. So with the preview in the Xcode 14, I think we can also play around with the color scheme variant, so it will be showing in the light or dark theme. I think that's all. Okay, looks good. That's it for the ticker list row view. Next, let's create the common views to represent various states in the UI, such as the empty state view, error view, and loading view. Okay, so inside the views folder, create another subfolder and give it a name of common. Okay, inside this common, let's begin by creating a new SwiftUI view. Give it a name of empty state view. Okay, so for the empty state view, it should be pretty simple. So we need the text, the placeholder text in case it is empty. So let's declare let text string, and let's pass the text the preview. Let's say no data available, and then here in the body, let's begin by declaring a h tag and add a padding of 64, and inside the h tag declare two spacer, and between the spacer declare text, passing the text property, set the font to headline, and set the foreground color to color UI color secondary label, and below the padding let's set the line limit to 3 maximum, and set the multi-line text alignment to center. Okay, so this is the empty state view. Okay, no problem. Now let's continue. Let's continue to the next one. Is the error state view. There's another SwiftUI view in that common folder. Error state view. Okay, so for the error state view, we will have the error text for sure. Let's give the name of error with the type of string, and we are also going to have an optional retry button. So this is optional. In case user doesn't pass the closure, then we won't show the button. Okay, so this will be named retry callback. Okay, let's declare. So let's make this optional. Okay, let's declare a closure with empty parameter and empty void return type, void parameter and void return type. Okay, so this is optional, so be careful with the parentheses in here. Okay, and in the previous, let's pass the error string and error occurred. Let's pass the retry callback in here, but let's just make it empty because we're not going to retry anything in the preview. Okay, in the body, let's declare an edge tag and let's set the padding to 64. Let me refresh this. Okay. And the edge tag, declare two spacers. Between the spacer, declare edge tag, passing spacing of 16, and plus declare text, passing the error text. And here, let's unwrap this retry callback. So if this is retry callback exists, not nil, we're just going to put a button using the title action. For the title, let's pass retry, and for the action, you can just pass the retry callback. Okay, the button looks so plain. So let's add the button style of bordered prominent. Okay, looks good. So this is when the retry callback exists, it will show the button. So we can also add a two state in our preview, one with the callback and one without. Okay, let's provide a default value of nil, and basically let's give it a name without retry button and with retry button. So by doing that, if you can see here at the top of the preview, we have these two preview device name. Sorry, I think it should be preview device. Sorry, it should be preview display name. Preview display name. Okay, it's not preview device. Preview device is for changing the simulator, the preview model in here. Okay, as you can see with retry button, the one with the button and the second one that we can select. So we don't pass the closure, so there is no retry button being rendered in here. Looks nice, right? That's it for the state view, and the most simple one is just the loading state view. Okay, so inside the loading state view, we don't have any parameter, but if you want to customize your loading, maybe you want to show some text or anything, you can do it. You can maybe pass a text, but in my case, I'm just going to show progress view and set the progress view style to circular. Okay, so just like this. Nice. That's it for the loading state view. Next, let's implement the main list view. So inside the stocks app folder, create a new folder, give it a name of view models. Okay, and inside the view models, let's create the first view model that we will be using. Swift file app view model. Okay, first let's begin by import XCAStocks API and also import SwiftUI. Okay, and then let's declare a class app view model, make it conform to the observable object protocol, and let's add the main actor in here so all the published properties can be updated inside the main thread. Sorry, this one should be SwiftUI instead Swift photobuf. I'm not sure why it's showing Swift photobuf in there. So the first property that we are going to declare, make it publish and give it the name of tickers. Okay, so this will be the stock symbols. We give it the name of tickers. It will be an array of ticker model from the XCAStocks API, and let's assign it with the empty array. And next, let's create an extension for the ticker to provide stubs data in the SwiftUI preview. So inside this root folder again, create a new folder, subfolder, give the name of mocks and stubs. Okay, let's put this a bit down, and also let's move this main list view inside the views folder before I forget. Okay, and let's put stocks app at the top. Okay, so inside the mocks and stubs, let's create a new Swift file, give it the name of stubs, and inside this stubs, let's import XCAStocks API, and we're going to generate these stubs for the debug mode for the SwiftUI preview. So the SwiftUI preview runs on the debug mode, so we can use this conditional compilation if debug. Okay, so this will only generate the code in the debug mode. And let's create an extension for the ticker, and let's create a static var stubs with the type of ticker array, and let's make this computed and then return an array in here. Let's create the initialize the stub ticker in here. First one is APL for the symbol, and for the short name, let's provide Apple Inc. So if you follow the previous video, if you can see here, basically I add some new things. I add some default values for some of the parameters, almost all of the parameters other than the symbol. So with this, I only need to pass the short name in here. Other value will be by default is nil or nil. Okay, and let's just copy this 3 times, remove the comma from the last one, and for the second ticker, let's change the symbol to TSLA, change the name to Tesla, and for the third one, change this to NVDA, change this to NVIDIA Corp, and finally AMD. Let's change the short name to Advanced Micro Device. Okay, is that correct? Device or devices? Okay, and that's it for the stub sticker. And next, we also need a separate view model to basically fetch the quotes data given a tickers array. Okay, we will encapsulate that into a separate view model instead of putting everything inside the app view model. Okay, so create a new file, Swift file, quotes view model, So the FVM model responsibility is just to store my tickers, the tickers that has been added by the user. Okay, and in here, the quotes view model, like always, import SwiftUI, import XCAStocks API, and let's use a main actor as well for this class. Give it a name of quotes view model, make it conform to the obstacle object, and declare a publish var, give it a name of quotes dict, and the type is a string key and the quote as the value. And let's initialize just an empty dictionary as the default value. Okay. So the key will be the symbol of the ticker. Before we move further, let's create a helper utils that will help us to format the number to text for displaying in the list. Okay, because if you see in the quote, the type of the price is double, right? So let's create a utility that will help us format that to a proper text. So inside the stocks app, create a new Swift file. Let's give it a name of Utils. Okay. And inside this utils, let's declare struct utils, and let's just create a static let number formatter using a closure initialization, so we can customize it. Let formatter, number formatter. Okay. Return formatter. Oh, you need to explicitly declare the type, sorry. Otherwise it won't know what is the type of this. Okay, now let's customize this. Let's set the number styles to currency, set the currency symbol to, we won't show any symbol, so let's just set it to empty string. Set the currency decimal separator to comma, and set the minimum fraction digits to 2, and as well as the maximum fraction digits to 2 as well. Okay, so it will only show 2, so this will only show maximum of 2 trailing decimal. Okay, this trailing fraction and 2 digits. Next one is static func format with one parameter value of optional double, which returns an optional string. Okay, so in here let's just use guard let value to unwrap this, and let's declare text and then info number formatter string from. So this will need the ns number, so let's initialize ns number passing the unwrapped value. Okay, in the else we just return nil. Continuing on, we can just return the text. Okay, let's try to build. Okay, we have succeeded. Okay, now let's create an extension for quote that will help us to create a compute variable to expose the formatted text. So inside the root, create a folder again, extensions. Let's move this folder below the stocks app, and inside the extensions, create a new C file, quote plus extensions. So in here, import XCAStocks API and the current extension for quote, and declare a compute var regular price text. Okay, and now we can simply hide the implementation here and then invoke this number formatter. Utils.format passing the value. For the value, we're going to pass this property regular market price. Okay, and next one is regular div text with type of optional string. So this one is also optional, and let's use guard let text and invoke utils.format. For the value, you can pass this regular market change. Okay. If it's fail, just return nil. Fail to be format. Other than that, we can just return the text, and here let's use ternary. If the text contains this negative operator, we just return the text. Otherwise, we're going to add the plus. Prefix it with plus, okay, using string interpolation. Okay, now we have this to be shown in the ticker list row view. Let's go back to the quote view model, I think. Quote view model. So here let's declare a method price for ticker. Okay, so this upset ticker as the parameter and return the price change optional. Okay, this will help us to just convert the ticker to the price change if this exists in this quotes dictionary. So let's just use guard let quote and quotes dictionary, passing the ticker.symbol as the key. If it exists, then let's continue with price. Okay, quote regular price text. Okay, this is also optional, and change quote regular div text, and only if all of them are not nil, we're going to continue. And we can simply return the tuple. Remember that price change is just an type ls with a tuple containing 2 strings, and let's return the price and the change. Okay, now let's also declare the stubs for the quotes inside this stubs.swift file. So below the extension for the ticker, let's also declare an extension for the quote. Username static for stubs, and here the type is array of quote. This should be computed. Well, let's begin. Quote, stop the quote. The first one is APL for the symbol, and let's pass only the regular market price. We don't need the other parameters. Let's pass 150.43 for anything that you want to pass actually. Okay, regular market change. So I'm going to pass my minus value in here. Okay, just to have some variation. Copy this 3 times and remove the comma from the last one, and change the second one to TSLA. Set the regular market price to 250.43. Change the regular market change to 2.89, and change the symbol to NVDA. Change the regular market price to 100.43. So this is just an imaginary number, right? This is not the real number. Just make this up. Okay, for the example of this tutorial. And the last one is AMD, and let's provide 70.43, and let's pass the regular market change of 12.55. Okay, that's it. Next, let's also create a static var stubs dictionary, which will be the string and for the key and quote for the value. Here, let's just declare as dictionary string quote, initialize it, and just invoke the stubs, this array, and we simply use for each to loop, and in each loop we're going to assign the key with the symbol, the parallel loop element, and assign the value as the element itself. And finally, we can just return the dictionary. Okay, now we have all the stubs for the ticker and quotes. Now let's navigate to the main list view. Okay, let me remove this right sidebar, we don't need those. Okay, let's begin by declaring an environment object. So for the app view model, we will use environment object to inject it down from the root application. Environment object var given a name of FPM. The type is app view model. Okay. And the second one, we're going to declare a state object. Okay, so this view will own this observable object, main list view. Give the name of quotes VM and assign it with quotes view model initialization as the default value. Okay, and in the view, and now let's go to the preview. Stubs the data. First one is declare state object static var, so FVM app view model, and let's use a closure initialization in here. Let VM app view model, and now we can stop the tickers in here with the tickers.stop. Okay, and let's also handle the case when this is empty. Add the empty VM. Here let's just pass empty array to the tickers. And next one is static var quotes VM for this stat object. Static var quotes VM quotes view model. Initialize quotes view model and assign vm.quotes publish property with the stubs dictionary and return the VM. Okay, looks good. Now before I forget one thing, let's go to the stocks app because we make that environment object, right? So for the app view model, so here let's declare a state object for app VM, initialize the app view model in here, and I want to wrap the main list view in here inside the navigation stack. Okay, and let's inject the app view model before we forget. Okay, now go back to the main list view so we can continue to the preview body here. So in the preview body, we're going to show several previews, so let's wrap it in a group. And let's begin by the current navigation stack main list view, and let's pass the quotes VM and make sure we pass the environment object as well in here. For this one, we're going to pass appm, and let's set the preview display name with tickers, and copy this everything, pass it below, and here pass empty appm for the environment object, and just change the preview display name to with empty tickers. Okay, now we can begin to implement the body. Man, let's view. Okay, this is wrong. This should be quotes VM. Okay, let's continue. First, let's declare the private var. Give the name of TickerListView with the type of opaque view. From here, declare a list, and let's invoke for each passing appvm.tickers. Okay, in the view closure, name the parameters as ticker, and in here we can simply initialize the ticker list row view. Okay, so enter here, init, enter again, and symbol ticker dot symbol ticker dot choose short name, and let's format this a bit. For the price, we can basically use quotes PM price for ticker method that we created before, passing the ticker. Okay, and for the type, we can explicitly pass main. Okay, so in the body, remove all of this and declare the name ticker list view. Wow, looks nice, right, in the preview. And set the list style for this to plain, okay, instead of default insert group. And also in the ticker list row view, I forgot, let's also add the content shape of rectangle. Okay, so all of this area will be tappable. Okay, even this empty space if we use this content shape rectangle. So if you encounter any issue where when you tap on this blank space, your row doesn't, when you add this on tap gesture, it doesn't get invoked, just make sure to add the content shape modifier before that passing rectangle. Okay, so we're going to add this on tap gesture. So currently we will just not doing anything inside here, but in the next video we're going to show the sheet containing the chart view. Okay, and also I forgot inside this for each, I also want to make this piece of can delete, so I have to delete using this. So declare fvm remove tickers. Okay, add offsets, passing the index set. We haven't created this, so let's navigate to the FView model to create this. Okay, so declare remove tickers, add offsets and offsets here for the internal name index set. Here we can simply invoke this array remove add offsets, passing the offsets. Okay, looks good. Okay, now we have this view in the preview, so we can play around with it, and let's try to swipe to delete. Nice. It works. So this is the one with the tickers, and currently with the empty tickers we haven't implemented anything. So let's begin implement the overlay to show that. So let's begin by the private var overlay view, sum view. Okay, let's add view builder at the top in here, and here we can simply use if fvm.tickers is empty. We're going to declare empty state view, passing the text. For the text, I'm going to put it inside the view model fvm instead of hardcoding it inside the view. Okay, so fvm empty tickers text. So let's go to the app view model and declare this var the ticker text and assign it with the string of search and add symbol to see stock quotes. Okay, let's go back, and to make it to render this, let's add the overlay passing overlay view. Okay, and select with empty tickers in here. Nice, now it is rendered when the tickers is empty. Next we will add the title toolbar containing the name of the app as well as the current date. So let's begin by creating another private var for the toolbar. Private var title toolbar, and for the type it will be some opaque toolbar content. Okay, here we can just declare toolbar item, passing placement of navigation bar leading. Okay, and inside pass of his tag Set the declare a fish tag, set the alignment to leading, and set the spacing to -4. In here, let's also put all of this inside the view model. We haven't declared that, but let me just type it now for now. But it will just work later when we edit. Subtitle text. Okay. For the subtitle text, we're going to set the foreground color to a color of secondary label, and let's set the font for these two text to title 2. Let's add a bottom padding. Now let's navigate to the view model. Okay, so let's begin by the title text. I'm going to give it a name of XCAStocks. You can give it any name that you want for your app. Okay, it's up to you. And next, I'm going to make this published, okay, because the date can change, and the view shall change whenever the subtitle text change as well, right? And subtitle text, this will contain the date string. Yeah, and for this I'm going to create an initializer. Okay. And we need to format the date actually to show only the 2 digits of the date and the month abbreviation, 3 letter. So to do that, let's declare a private let subtitle date formatter in here. Okay, using a closure, customized, let df. Oh, before we forget, let's explicitly declare the type there. So let df that formatter and set the date format df.date format to this. Okay, be careful with this, d and m 3 times. Okay, d and triple m with a space between them, and return the df. And inside the initializer we can assign the subtitle text with the subtitle that formatter string from passing the current date. Okay, looks nice. Let's hope it works here. Something wrong with the title 2. Maybe we can use weight. Oh, okay, weight heavy. Will this work? But before that, we need to add the toolbar modifier in here. Okay, and pass the title toolbar in the closure. Okay, looks nice. Okay, now let's also add the bottom toolbar to show the attribution to the Yahoo Finance API, because we are using the Yahoo Finance API to fetch the data. So we should give them attribution, and when the user taps on the bottom toolbar, we should redirect them to the Yahoo Finance API website. Okay, so let's begin by declare a private var attribution toolbar, some toolbar content, it's the type, it's also an opaque toolbar item, placement. For the placement, let's pass bottom bar. Okay, bar, inside this let's declare an h tab, button with action label. Okay, for the action, we haven't implemented this, but let's just type open Yahoo Finance. Okay, and in the label, let's declare text, passing FVM attribution text. We haven't declared this as well. And set the font to caption with the weight of heavy, and set the foreground color to UI color of secondary label. Okay, And let's make this button style as plain and add a spacer. Okay. And before we forget, declare this attribution toolbar below the toggle toolbar. Okay. Now let's go to the view model. So here, let me declare attribution text in here. Assign it with the value of powered by Yahoo. Okay. Finance API. Okay. Looks good. And let's also declare the method to redirect to Safari. Below this, so open Yahoo Finance. Here, let's just declare an URL passing this string of HTTPS. So this is the Yahoo website, Yahoo Finance website, yahoofinance.yahoo.com. Let's just program wrap this, and let's use guard UI application .shared can open URL, passing that URL above. So if it cannot, you can just return, and if it can, you can just your application is shared open URL, passing this URL. Okay, this should work. Let's go back. Nice. As you can see at the bottom, we have the powered by Yahoo Finance API. So it won't redirect to the Safari when I open it, when I tap this in the preview, right? But when I use simulator, this will work. Okay, and now that's it for the main list view user interface. Next, let's move on to build the search view. For the search view, we will have at least 4 possible states for the UI. So it's possible it's fetching, searching, and empty, no results, and also failure with error, and success with the search result. So instead of tracking this using a separate variables in the view model, let's create an enum that represent these various stats into discrete cases. Okay. Inside the models folder, create a new Swift file. Give it a name of fetch phase. Okay. For this fetch phase, declare an enum first. Fetch phase, and we are going to use a generic placeholder for the success data. Okay, to make it abstract, so it can be used for any data type. So first one is initial. Okay. Next one is fetching, and then success, and then one object fail, which is the data of fee, and then failure. For failure, it will be an error for the associated value, and empty. Okay, these are the cases, and let's add a compute var to grab the value inside the success case. Okay, so just using the if case success, grab the fee and return, else just return nil. Also the same for the error. Okay, optional for error, case failure. Nice, the compiler provides the auto completion for us, and it works. Okay, that's it for the fetch phase. Pretty simple, right? But this should help us when we want to represent various stats in the search view. Let's begin by creating the view models first. Inside the view models folder here, Swift file, search view model, and inside this view model we are going to import several frameworks. First one is combine. We are going to use this combine operator to observe the query string letter, and import SwiftUI, and import XCAStocks API, and let's also add the main actor for the class, and name it as search view model that conforms to the observable object protocol. So obviously the first publish property will be the query string. Okay, let's assign the default empty string for the default value. And next one is publish var face. Okay, this will be fetch face, and for the generic it will be an array of ticker. We will fetch an array of ticker from the Yahoo Finance API, and the default value will be initial. And continuing on, let's also create several computer property. Our computer property. First one is private var string search query. Let's just use string query. Okay, string. And here we just use the query and invoke trimming characters in white spaces and new lines, so it will cut it down to white space and new lines, the trailing. And next one is tickers. Okay, this is just a compute property that basically use face.value. Okay, this is optional, so let's provide an empty value of empty array, the default value of empty array. And next one is error. This is also optional, error. Okay, and next one is searching boolean. So let's use this negate operator if query, if stream query is empty. Okay, so when the trim query is not empty, it will the searching will be true, otherwise it will be false. And next, let's create the search view inside the views folder. Select SwiftUI view, search view. So let's import XCAStocks API, and inside the search view, let's declare an environment object var appvm model. We will inject this in the preview. And next one is state object var quotes vm. Okay, let's assign it with the quotes view model as the default value. And next one is observe object. This will be search VM. So the one that will own the search VM will be the main list view. Okay, search view model. Okay, we have all this observable object in the search view. Now let's begin to implement the search view. Now let's begin to implement the preview. So we will have several Stubs view model in here. Let's begin by the state object static var stub search VM. So this is the view model that will contain the results. Give it the name of search view model, and let's use closure initialization. In here, just search view model, initialize this, and in here we can basically set the face to success, passing the stub tickers, ticker.stubs. Okay, let's copy this 1, 2, 3. Okay. For the second one, let's change the name to stub, not stub. Empty search VM. Okay. In here, set the face to empty. And the third one will be the loading search VM. Change the face to fetching. And this one will be the error search VM. Change the face to failure, and then initialize as error. Domain code, and add the user info and as localized description key, and just pass an error has been occurred. Okay. Okay, now we have this, and for the empty, I'm going to add a query actually. Theranos for the query. Now we have all of this, and we're going to also have the static var, okay, and quotes VM, quotes view model. We're going to also pass this, right? So we need to stop this as well. VM quotes view model, VM.quotes dictionary. We can simply use quotes dot stubstick and return the VM. And also we need the state object, static var quotes VM, app VM, app view model, app VM, app view model, VM.tickers. We can simply assign the stubs and return the VM. Okay, so we have all the view stubs view model. Now let's go to the preview. So we are going to show different previews based on different state of the stub. So let's take a group and add the environment object passing the FVM stub. Let's begin by the first one, navigation stack, and wrap the search tree inside the navigation stack, and let's pass the quotes VM. Let me change this quotes VM. Okay, and for the search VM, we're going to pass the stub search VM for the first one, and set the searchable. Okay, this will show the search bar at the top of the navigation bar. Passing binding of start search VM.query. And for the preview display name, let's pass results. Let me copy this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. For the second one, change this to empty search VM. Also update the binding to empty search VM, and update this to empty results. Third one, make sure to change this to loading search VM. Update this binding as well, and loading state. And the last one is the error search VM. Okay, and error state. Okay, we have all 4 states in here. Now let's begin to implement the body. The body itself should be pretty simple to implement actually. Let's declare a list in here, and then pass search VM.tickers, and then in the view provider grab this, then the parameter sticker, and we simply declare TickerListRepository. Okay, for the data, let's initialize. For the symbol, pass ticker.symbol, name ticker.shortname, and for the price, we can use quotes VM price for ticker, passing the ticker. For the type, we can pass search. Okay, let's format this a bit. Okay, now for the is saved, we're going to basically invoke AppVM. AppVM will be responsible to provide the information whether this has been added to the ticker list array, the view model. So let's invoke is added to my tickers. Okay, passing the ticker. We haven't implemented this, but let's just invoke this. And for the unbutton tab, there must be a function as well in the FVM to toggle the tickers, whether to edit or to remove it from the ticker list. So let's name it toggle ticker, passing the ticker. And now let's begin implementing this two methods. Okay, navigate to the app view model and scroll down. Let's begin from here. Mark is added to my tickers, okay, with one parameter, ticker. There is no return type. So basically here we need to check using tickers array and then invoke first. So it's going to find the first one when the symbol equal to this ticker parameter symbol. Okay, so if it found the one of them first, it's going to just return from the loop, and then we're going to compare it. If this is not nil, then it is added to the tickers array. Okay, and next one is toggle ticker. Okay, one parameter as well, ticker. So here we're going to use if is added to my tickers. Okay, and else. Okay, so if it is added, we need to remove it. Let's create a method. Oh, sorry, I think for is added to my tickers, the return type should be boolean. I forgot that. Sorry. Let's create a method first for remove from my tickers with one parameter, ticker. Here we can simply use find the index using tickers first index where same, we're going to use the symbol equal to the ticker parameter. Okay, and if we can't find the index, we just return. Continuing on, we just invoke tickers remove at passing that index. Okay, and next one is, so actually we can make this private. Next one is for adding. It's very simple. Add to my ticker, the parameter. Simply invoke tickers append ticker. Okay, so if it is added to my ticker, I'm going to toggle it. I'm going to remove it. Invoking remove from my tickers, passing the ticker. Else I'm going to edit if it is hadn't been added. Add to my tickers, passing the ticker. Okay, nice. Now let's navigate back to the search view. What are we missing? Toggle ticker. I think for the toggle ticker, it's just ignore the parameter, right? So we can just add this underscore space. Okay. With this, we don't need to pass the name parameter. Okay, toggle ticker, because it's already explicit, right? Toggle ticker. And nice, it is rendered. It looks good. And let's make this list style also to plain. Okay, all of them are check marked. So I want to play around with the FVM. I want to cut this down, so it currently have that 4 stubs. I'm going to cut this to only have 2 elements, so it have the combination in the preview, right? Write this in an array. Okay, you can see, so 2 of them hasn't been added, right? Because we cut the stubs in here, the app view model. Okay, let's the list style is plain. And before we forget, let's also add the content shape rectangle to make this tappable and on-tap gesture. But for that will be in the next video for showing the sheet containing the chart view. And next one is we have the list style plain. Now let's add the overlay to show the various state, empty, loading, and error. Okay. So below the body, the curve view builder, private file, give the name of list search overlay with the type of opaque view, and then you switch passing the search vm.face. Okay. The first one is for the failure case, grab the error and declare error state view. Okay. Passing the error localized description. For the retry button, let's just make it empty for now because we haven't integrated with the search XCAStocks API for searching to the network API in the view module. And next one is empty. For the empty case, we're just going to declare empty state view text. And in here, I'm going to also use the search VM to basically provide the failure. So let's go back to the empty search view model and declare empty list text string. So let's make this computed because we are going to use symbols not found. Okay, let's go to the new line using this /n and let's add the quotation using /quotation to escape, and between them let's use the query string interpolation in here, symbols not found for the query in the search bar. Okay, go back. Good. This one is fetching. For fetching, we're just going to show loading state view, and let's also provide the focal case. We're just going to show empty view. Okay, and don't forget in here below the list style plane, add an overlay modifier passing the list search overlay. And now let's see. Click empty results. Okay, symbols not found for Theranos. Nice. Loading state. Okay, it shows the progress indicator in here. Error state. An error has been occurred with the retry button. Nice. Now let's integrate this into the main list view before we forget. So here, let's declare the state object. Remember that I make the search VM in the search view observable object because the main list view will own the search view model. Let's initialize it with the default value, and simply in here let's add the searchable passing binding of search VM.query. Nice. And let's also add the stop for the search VM in here. Okay, state object static var search VM. Okay, search view model. Okay. So I just thought that I think for the quotes VM and search VM here, this is state object. So I think for this, we're going to not make this. We're going to remove the state object property wrapper because it will not own this. We're going just to handle the value, and it will be owned by the main list view itself. Okay, for the quotes VM and the search VM. Okay, initialize search view model. VM dot tickers, face success with sticker.stubs. Okay, and let's pass this in here. SPM search VM search VM. Okay, and one thing on how to show this, we're going to put it in the overlay view, so it will be on top of the main list view. So below the if app VM.tickers is empty, we're going to add the result if search VM is searching. We're going to show the search view passing the search VM Okay, looks nice now. Maybe if you tap in this and then you search, nice, right? It shows the search field with the Stubs data. Okay, that's it for the main list view and the search view. Okay, we have implemented the main list view and the search view, and currently we are stubbing the data in the SwiftUI preview. Next, let's implement the search stickers to fetch the data from the Yahoo Finance Remote API. Before doing that, let's create another folder, services, and in here we are going to create protocol for the API service. Create a new save file, give the name of stocks API. So import XCAStocks API and declare a protocol stocks API. So using this protocol, we will be able to provide concrete implementation in the app and mock implementation in the SwiftUI preview. Okay, and create an extension for the XCAStocks API, make it conform to this stocks API. Now go to the XCAStocks API and let's copy this search stickers method, paste it in the stocks API, as well as the fetch quest symbol method. Okay, so for these two methods, we are going to implement the implementation in the view models. This is inside the search view model and this one inside the quotes view model. Okay, and as you can see, the XCAStocks API already provide the implementation for these methods. So when we build, it already conforms to the stocks API without any issue. And next, before we move to the implementation, let's create a mock for the stocks API. Okay, mock stocks API. And in here, let's import XCAStocks API and let's enable the mocks only in bug using this macro and declare mock stocks API, make it conform to the stocks API, and implement search stickers, fetch quotes methods. And basically the idea with the mock object is to provide a way where we can inject the stubs. So let's declare the variable stub search stickers callback. We're going to declare this as a closure. The first one is closure asynchronous, no parameter, that return an array of ticker. Let's make this pros and web, and the implement method we can just invoke try await stub search stickers callback. Let's do the same for fetch quotes. Stub fetch quotes callback. It's also an action throw with a return type of array of quote. This pros and web, and then invoke try await fetch quotes stub fetch quotes callback. Okay, now we have the mock stocks API. Navigate to the search view model now. So the first thing that we are going to declare in here is a private let stocks API, and we are going to use the protocol stocks API, and we are going to inject this using the initializer. Okay, we are also going to inject the query string, provide an empty string as a default value. The second parameter is the stocks API. Make sure that the type is the protocol stocks API, and we're going to provide the default implementation of this concrete XCAStocks API. Okay, basically assign the query to the self.query and self.stocks API to the stocks API parameter. Okay, sure to build first. Now let's continue to implement the method. Declare a file search stickers, make this a nesting method. Okay, first let's grab the computed property, capture this, the stream query. Okay, this is computed, and first let's use got not search query, it's empty using that negation, and it is empty, we just return. And then continuing on, let's set the face to caption. Next, let's declare a do try catch block. And in the do, let's declare response. Maybe let's give the name of tickers. And invoke try wait API stocks API search tickers, passing the search query. And is equality type only. Let's pass through. You only want the equality type for the ticker. And remember that this will be async, so there's a possibility when this returns in this line, the search query had already changed. Okay, so we're going to return in that case. So if the search query, okay, the one that we capture, is not equal with the trim query, okay, then we just return because it's already changed, right? And otherwise, we continue on. Sorry, this should not include the else. Continuing on, we're going to check if tickers is empty. We're going to set the face to empty. Else, let's set the face to success, passing the tickers. And in the catch block, we're going to also check this if search query not equal to trim query, just return. Continuing on, let's print the error for debugging. And let's set the face to failure, passing the error. Okay. Now we need to find a way to trigger this search tickers. So in our search bar, we won't have any submit button. We are going to observe the search bar that the user types. So basically we're going to use combine and use the bounds operator. We're going to delay the invocation to the Yahoo Finance API in case the user types too fast. Okay, we're going to delay it by like 250 milliseconds using the combine bounds operator. So let's add that mechanism inside this init. Okay, let's declare a thread method, start observing. And remember, for any subscription to publisher, we need to have cancellables. So let's declare this set any cancelable. We need to store that subscription. As we are going to have 2 subscriptions, I'm going to declare a set. So let's invoke this start observing in the init. Okay, the first one, we're going to access the publisher of this query, publish query. So to do that, we're going to use this $prefix query. Okay, it exposes this publisher, which then we can use combine. We're going to use the bounds operator. So it publishes elements only after a specified time interval elapses between events. Okay, so we're going to pass 0.25 seconds, 250 milliseconds, and we're going to schedule it in the main thread. Continuing on, we're going to receive the value using the sync operator attached as subscriber. And here it's going to pass the new value, but we're just going to ignore it. Instead, we're going just to pick up an async task. Okay, and here we're going to capture weak self to avoid any return cycle, as this is a class reference type. And then we're going to invoke await self search tickers. Okay, make sure to invoke using the parentheses. And we're going to store this subscription by passing the pointer of the cancellables. Okay, for the next subscription, we're going to subscribe to the query again, but in this time we're going to filter using the filter operator. In case it is empty, we're going to sync, receive the value, click self, ignore the value, and in case it is empty, I'm going to set the face back to initial. Okay, make sure before we forget, store it in the cancellables. Okay, Now, one thing before I forget, go to the search view. There's one manual mechanism that we need to trigger in case the error red button is pressed, right? For example, when there is no internet connection, you can try it. So let's switch to the async context using task and invoke try await search pm dot search tickers. So I don't know why Xcode doesn't just provide the invocation in here, so you need to be careful. You need to invoke this, okay? Otherwise it won't be executed. Okay, we have this. Now let's try to run this. Okay, let's search for AAP. Nice, it shows the results from the API ESL. Okay, it shows 3 results. Nice. Now let's try to add this. It doesn't work. Why? Let's go to the search view, this one. So maybe probably because of we provide empty implementation in the on-tap gesture, right? So for now, because we are not going to implement this chart sheet detail view, let's just comment this, okay? And let's try. Will it work? APP, add this. Okay, let's add both of them. Nice, it is both of them are added to the main list. And there's one warning in here. Publishing change from within view updates is not allowed. So it is publishing the change to the tickers array, this method, in another thread other than the UI thread. Okay, that's the rule in SwiftUI. You must update any property with the publish property wrapper in a UI thread. So there's one way to handle this, which is just to simply declare this at the annotation of main actor to this search view. Let's try again. ESL, like this. Is it the same? Okay, it's still showing that, even though I have added the main actor in here. Let's try another task and use this main actor. Take off async task in main actor. Usually this works, I think, that main actor, but I don't know why it's not. Okay. This again. AP, add this. Okay, now there's no warning being shown that we update these stickers inside the another thread other than the UI thread. Okay, now if you see inside this search, this ticker list row view in the search, we don't have the price data as well as the change, so we need to implement that in the quotes view model. So navigate to the quotes view model, and then let's do the same with a private lag stocks API, and at the type stocks API protocol, and inject this inside the using an initializer stocks API. Make sure the type is stocks API and provide the default value of XCAStocks API concrete implementation. Assign this to self.stocks API. Okay, nice, works. Next, let's declare the method fetch quotes, like this async function, and here let's use guard to check whether I think we need to pass the tickers, the parameter. Sorry, I forgot. So let's check if the tickers array is empty. If not empty, we'll continue on, else we just return. And then let's declare a do try catch block. Let's print error but localize the description in this catch. So basically for the quotes view model, we won't have any fetch phase, because we are going just to fail silently in case the fetch quotes fail to fetch the data. Okay, and basically in the do block, let's declare let quotes. Sorry, I think we need to convert this to a symbol, alright, comma separated string. Okay, let's declare symbols and then invoke tickers.map. Okay, so this become the array of symbol string, and we are going to join this into a single string with comma as the separator. Okay, now we can invoke try, declare let quotes, try await stocks API fetch quotes, passing these symbols comma separated string. And next, let's declare a dictionary to convert this string quote, and let's invoke quotes for each, and then assign the symbol, the key, and the value self as itself. And finally, we can assign self quotes dict with the new dictionary. Okay, looks good. I think we need to add the name parameter separator. Okay, the build succeeded for the quotes view module. Now let's add the mechanism to trigger the fetch quote. Basically, there are two things that we want to achieve. First, quotes should be updated whenever the tickers change, and second, users can manually refresh the quotes using a pull to refresh on the list. So let's go to the search view first. Okay, so basically in the search view, it's going to add the task modifier. Okay, and here we're going to pass search vm.tickers. So whenever the search vm tickers change, it will trigger the closure to execute this. So this is already in an async context. You can basically invoke quotes vm.fetch quotes passing search vm.tickers. Okay, so this should solve the problem. Whenever the tickers is fetched, it's going to basically execute this task. And next one is for pull to refresh. That is also very simple. Here we simply add the refreshable action. Okay, this also executes in async context, so we can simply invoke quotes vm fetch quotes passing search vm.tickers. Okay, that is the so that's it in the search view, but we also need to add this in the main list view. Remember, we also have price data there. So in the body, add the modifier. For the ID, pass. In this case, we want to observe the fvm.tickers. Whenever it's getting updated or removed, we can simply invoke await quotes vm fetch quotes with the new quotes, with the new tickers, sorry. And let's also add the refreshable, invoking await quotes vm fetch quotes passing fvm.tickers. Okay, now let's try to run this in the simulator. Try AAP. Okay, it shows the price data. Okay, this is the real-time data. Okay, it's not being stopped. Let me add Apple in here. Okay, we got the real-time data of AAPL. Let's try to check Tesla. Let's add all of them, and let's also try to pull and refresh. Looks like it doesn't work in the search view. but it does works on the main list view. Let's check this first. Go to the search view. Okay, so I add this referenceable in here, right? Let me check one thing. Let me add a breakpoint in here. Just okay, it does works actually. Okay, so we have successfully also fetched the data, the quotes whenever the tickers getting added here. Nice. Let's try to remove. Okay, everything works as expected. And now the preview, we need to update our preview to use the mock stocks API, because we have changed the mechanism in here. So this will be a quite tedious job, so let me do it one by one. Okay, so for the Stubs search, let's get for the mock stocks API, and instead of changing this face vm.face, we are going to basically use this stub for search. It should be search tickers callback. Okay, in here I'm going to return ticker.stubs. Okay, because we already have our underlying mechanism, right? So this won't work. And this is a struct, so let's declare this as a var mock, right? And we also need to pass the query, I think. Otherwise it won't work, because we have added the subscription, right, to the query publisher. So let's add Apple, the query, and the first for the stocks API, let's inject the mock in here, and we can simply return this. Okay, we are going to do the same, I think. Let me copy this. Let me delete out this, and for the empty, we're just going to return an empty array and return search view model for the query. Let's pass Theranos. Okay, and stocks API, let's pass the mock. Copy this on, I think, and just change the stubs callback. And for the loading, so this runs in the async context. So the strategy is to never invoke the callback, but as this is in async context, there's this one trick that we can use using this with check continuation, that it will suspend the current task, then calls the given closure with the check continuation. So basically we need to invoke that check continuation. But in this case, we want to simulate loading, indefinite loading. So there's one parameter, let's just ignore this. Okay, we never call the check continuation completion, so it will still keep on loading. Okay, so that's one trick for the async context using check continuation. And let me change this for the error. Let me just copy this NS error declaration. Okay, cut this, remove this, and here I can simply throw and pass this. Okay, throw this NS error. Okay, for the app view model, declare another mock stocks API, mock stub. Sorry, I have initialized this. Mock.stub search tickers callback. Sorry, for the FVM, I think we haven't implemented the repository to persist the data, so let's ignore that. Let's go to the quotes view model now. var mock, initialize mock stocks API, mock.stub_fetch_quotes callback just returns the code that stops in here, and return quotes view model passing the mock stocks API. Okay, let me copy this and update the stub in the main list view preview. Okay, for search VM API mock.stub search tickers callback ticker.stubs and return search view model. I'm just going to pass the mock API. Okay, now let's resume the preview. Make sure they are still work as expected. Okay, this is the result state. Empty results. Okay, works. Loading state. Okay, it still shows the loading indicator. And the error state. Okay, an error has been occurred. Okay, everything works for the search view. Next is the main list view, right? Okay, this also still works. Okay, so currently the tickers list, whenever we close the app, okay, and open this, it's not loading the data from the disk because we haven't persisted it yet. So let's create the mechanism for this. Next, so inside the services folder, create a new Swift file, give it a name of TickerListRepository, and we are going to also use protocol aka interface. Okay, TickerListRepository. Basically, for this protocol of repository TickerList, we're going to have a method of save that accepts a current array of ticker to be safe. Make sure to import XCAStocks API, and let's make this async throws. Next one is load. Okay, doesn't accept any parameter, makes it async throwing, and the return type is array of ticker. Okay, and let's provide the concrete implementation using a playlist to save the data to the documents directory. Okay, let's implement this a bit quickly. Okay, follow me along. TickerPlistRepository, make it conform to the TickerListRepository. For the stocks API, we don't need to implement any implementation because it's already implemented. Okay, so let's declare private var save. Let's also hold the ticker in the memory. Okay, so we can use it for comparison later when save is invoked. And private let file name, the file name where we want to use to save the file in document directory. String, and create an initializer file name. It accepts a file name of string. Let's provide the default value of my tickers. Okay, and assign it to the file name. Okay, let's try to build. Okay, we need to confirm to save and load. Okay, so actually I won't do execute this in the async, so I can just omit this async. In the save method, this is actually very simple, but before that I forgot. Let's create a computed property for the URL to save. URL, and we're going to use file manager default URLs for document directory in user domain mask. This returns the array of URLs, but in iOS it's always going to be the first one. It's also going to be there, and so we're going to use that zero subscript, and we're going to appending path component to this URL, document directory URL, and we're going to pass this string of population file name and then set the extension to .plist, okay, for the file name. Okay, now we can save. First, in the save method, we're going to use if left save. So if this variable exists, we're going to compare the save equal to current, the one that's being passed the parameter. If you say equal, we can just return, okay, because it's the same. You don't need to save. Next one, let's declare a property list encoder and set the encoder.output format. Let's set it to binary format, property list binary format. And next is, let's use try encoder and let's encode the current, okay. So ticker itself already conforms to the encodable protocol, right? Oh, sorry, I think if let save, comma save equals to current, okay. And once we encode it to the data, we can just invoke data right to URL, and we're going to make this atomic, okay. And let's update the in-memory variable save to the current, the new one, okay. Try to be okay. So let's implement the load method. Next, get data, try data. Let's load the data from the URL, and after we got the data, we're going to initialize property list decoder. Let's just change this to current property list decoder and then invoke the code array of ticker itself from the data. And no issue, we can update the save with the current, and we can return the current. Okay, let's try here. Controls. Okay, we have implemented the TickerListRepository concrete implementation that save the tickers to the plist in the command directory. And next, let's create the mock for this for the TickerListRepository. Create a Swift file inside the mock and stubs folder. Mock TickerListRepository. Import XCAStocks API. Let's write this as well in the debug macro. And declare struct mock TickerListRepository and make this conform to the TickerListRepository protocol, and implement the load and the save. Okay. For save, we are not going to implement anything actually. You only want to stop the data in this load. Okay, so let's spread stop load. Okay, make this async throws as well, and return array of ticker. First unwrap this, and then invoke try await stop load. Okay, now we have this. We need to add this TickerListRepository to the app model. The first thing that we are going to do is just to declare let Stubs API, sorry, TickerRepository, TickerListRepository, and the type is going to be the protocol, and let's add the injection via the parameter and the initializer. Assign this TickerListRepository to the repository from the parameter. And let's create a private func load tickers and private func save tickers. We're going to click off the async task in here and use the try catch. The catch we can just print error localized description and assign the tickers with the empty array for the load. And in here, let's invoke instead of tickers, try await TickerListRepository load. Okay, and then in the initializer, let's invoke these load tickers. Let's copy this for the 5 tickers and remove this self.tickers assignment the catch. And in the do, you can just invoke try await TickerListRepository save passing self.tickers. Okay, so build failed. Let's see. Okay, we need to pass oh sorry, I think to avoid this error, let's provide the default value in the initializer, which is going to be the concrete implementation. It's going to be TickerPlistRepository. Okay, it's good. And this can actually cause a run cycle. Okay, so let's add with self before I forget. Switch card let self go to self else return. Let's also do the same the load ticker in here. Okay, so for staff tickers, when do we trigger this? So it's going to be very simple in our case. Just did set in the tickers in here, publish property. So in the did set, we can simply invoke save tickers. So whenever the ticker array change, we are going to save the ticker in the disk. That's it. And whenever the FU model got initialized, we're going to simply load the tickers from the disk. Let's try this. Okay, and I think it's already working. And let me add AAP. Okay, let me close this. Close good. And let me open Stocks app. Okay, it persists the data and it loads data when the app starts from the document directory. Nice. Before I close this, one more thing is just we need to update the main list view preview to use the stub mock API mock TickerListRepository. Okay, mock TickerListRepository mock.stubload and ticker.stubs, and in here we can simply initialize FU model passing the mock repository. Okay, don't forget. So your preview will work as expected. Let's copy this FPM and also update this empty FPM. In here, we're going to just return an empty array. And I think we also have the FU model in the search view preview. Okay. Okay. So let me pass this. Copy this. Remove this and paste this inside the stub load. Okay, I think everything works as expected. We have the preview, we have the mocks, we have the stub data. So this preview will work even if you don't have any internet connection, or maybe the Yahoo Finance API is closed and you cannot access it anymore. Okay, congratulations, you have completed this second part of building Stocks app tutorial series. In the next part, we are going to implement the sheet view containing the detailed quote data and the chart view. And like the video if you like, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching until the end. So until the next one, keep on being a lifelong learner and goodbye.